Good evening, folks. This is CloudChartist coming to you from beautiful Florida. I just got back from the beach and I'm under the gun as far as time goes, so I want to get started and move along quickly on my weekly Ichimoku Chart wrap-up. The deal is that if I don't get it done by 6 o'clock, the new weekly candles will open up and sort of make things more confusing, so I'm going to get going real quick, starting off with CL. CL, we put in a very bullish week. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more on this chart. So last 2 weeks we had a close over the Tenkan-sen, which was showing some bullish momentum as we changed trend 4 candles ago after we put in the low at 42.41. I hope you can see my crosshairs, as there's a little issue with this streaming software. Does not allow me to have a cursor at the moment. Hopefully that will improve soon. So we've been in an uptrend, and then last week we put in a very bullish candle with only a small topping tail right into prior resistance level that I talked about last week, the 57.80 area. You can see that after we had been in this tremendous downtrend, put in 2 extremely one very bullish candle back in November, the week ending the 24th. Then we put in a potential reversal candle, and then we sold very heartily. Then we put in a green candle for the first time in a while, and it looked like we were going to get a reversal around this area that we're at right now, 57.75, 57.80 area. But then we did not reverse, so the reversal was denied then. So we're back at that level, so now price needs to decide what it's going to do. If we do see higher prices from here, which we have no reason to think that we won't since we are in a real solid uptrend, we do have resistance at the at the Kijun-sen, this pink line, at 62.84. So if we do, that's quite a ways from, that's $4 and change from, or actually it's about $5 from here. So if we do manage to go that much higher, then I would look for resistance at that 62.84 level. But overall, crude is still bearish under the cloud, but we are in a fast time for an uptrend. All right, so I'm going to move on to the ES. And zoom out a little bit so you can see the wonderful trend that the ES has been in. So the ES has been trending above the cloud for quite some time, very bullish. Only one time did it test the cloud in recent history. That was back in October of last year. So last week's candle put in an important close above the Tenkan-sen. The Tenkan-sen is currently located at 2075.13. And we closed at 2076.25. So the fact that we held Tenkan-sen is quite bullish for the coming week. We do need to continue to hold that level, or else there's a danger that we'll sell down to prior support levels of maybe 1986 area, or the Kijun-sen. Sorry, first off the Kijun-sen, which is at 1995, and then if we lose that Kijun-sen at 1995, we could go lower to the 1986 area where we found prior support. Another thing to look forward to as a potential is the Chikou span. That's this red line here above price action. The Chikou represents price action time shifted 26 periods into the past, so 26 weeks ago is where it's located, so it's back here in around October. So if we do get further selling from the ES, we don't have support for the Chikou until 1962 area, 1963, 1961. I'm not sure. Let me see where this candle. 1960.50. Let's call it that to be more precise. So we could sell all the way down to there. In which case, we would still be overall bullish, so nothing to get afraid of. In fact, this week's candle has support all the way down to around the 1914, 1912, 1914 area. So overall still in a bullish uptrend, but if we lose the Tenkan Sen, look for the Kijun Sen below at 1995. How's that? Let's look at the NASDAQ. Similar to the ES, except that we did close under the Tenkan Sen on the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ is a little more vulnerable this week. We could sell down as far as this prior support level at 42.58, 42.59 area. And if we go below that, we could go all the way down to 41.38.25. Then if we lose 41.38.25, we could go lower all the way to 38.55 area. And even then, the overall Ichimoku chart on the weekly time frame would still be bullish for the NASDAQ. So those are some levels to keep an eye on. If we do get back over 43.71, where the Tenkan Sen's at right now, I definitely would expect much higher prices. Let's look at the Russell. Russell is still in a very nice uptrend, put in a new high, and then sold back down, but put in a bit of a spinning top candle, so potential trend change candle. But we would need to get below the Tenkan Sen, which is at 1240.40. So right now, we got to close over that 1250.20. So look for 1240.40 to act as support if we do sell. And then one thing that I mention each week is that we do have a flat cloud and a thin cloud below, which is potential danger zone. So we need to get past that. But that's going to be in this. This flat cloud is going on until into June. So it's going to be a danger. We need to, bulls really want to see us continue to hold the Tenkan Sen to be safe from selling back down to this flat cloud area below. In Ichimoku, flat clouds are flat anything is attractive because flats represent equilibrium. And when you see a thin cloud, that suggests a tighter trading range. All right, let's go to the Dow YM futures. Similar to the last two charts that I showed you, the Dow did close under the Tenkan Sen. We'll have support at the at 17,217 Kijun Sen below if we do sell further. Otherwise, we need to get back over 17,868 for the Dow futures. Let's look at gold. Gold is still overall bearish under the cloud. It did close above the weekly Tenkan Sen, and as I pointed out last week, it's a range trade between the Tenkan Sen and the Kijun Sen until it breaks one of those levels. So we're looking at 1189 to 1219 range until we get a weekly close over or under one of those levels. So if we do sell more, look for 1189.20 to hold as support. Under that, we could go back to test, the 1150s or even lower, because the chart is still overall bearish. Let us look at silver. And if you happen to be watching this, I see there's only 4 people watching this live. I know I didn't give anyone very much notice. I just, got in myself and wanted to get this going before the charts change. So if you happen to be in the chat room and you want to send me a message, ask for a specific chart or something like that, feel free to. But there's only 4 of you watching it at the moment, so feel free to say hi. Anyway, back to silver. So similar to gold, overall bearish, and we closed under the Tenkan Sen and the Kijun Sen confluence. It's interesting that the Kijun Sen and Tenkan Sen are at the same level right now, around 1633. So I'm looking for 1633 to hold as resistance, and then we could, sell back down to this 1560 area or even lower, unless we get above the Tenkan Sen and the Kijun Sen at 1633, in which case we could come up and test this prior resistance 17 level. Silver's had a hard time getting over 17 for the last several weeks. And if we do get over 17, then we can start talking about higher targets from there. Let's see, let's look at some treasury bonds. Let's look at ZB. I'm going to go to the M5 contract to make it a little more clear. No, the M5 contract is not going to give me any clouds. All right, let's look at the regular one. It's hard to chart ZB because of that crazy gap, but anyway, still bullish. We're basically bull flagging over the cloud, over the Tenkan-sen, over the Kijun-sen, but the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen are both flat, so they could indeed attract price. So if we do get selling, we could expect some selling down towards 155.10 below. But otherwise, the Ichimoku doesn't give us a lot of clues in that we're just sort of bull flagging in this, general area from 166 to 160, 161, 162 area. We are quite extended and overbought at this point, but that's pretty much why. In Ichimoku, if there's an existing uptrend and things get too overbought or too oversold, the Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen tend to go flat, either above or below the cloud, and then price is often attracted back towards them as a form of basic mean reversion. Let's look at the dollar. Dollar is had a lot of selling last week after various news and economic releases, and I expect more volatility in the dollar this week due to the Greek questions that loom ahead. But we do have fully bullish and bull flagging, and we did get a close above the Tenkan-sen. So unless we lose the Tenkan-sen at 97.31, it looks fully bullish. In fact, we could break out higher to the upside, even though it seems unlikely because it's really overbought at this point, and it seems like the Fed is kind of against that idea, but we'll see what happens. For now, 97.31 is key for the dollar. Lose 97.31, then we can start talking about bearish targets below, like 95.50, 95.25 area, and then all the way down to 92.79 is the Kijun-sen. It would be real nice to just short the dollar and forget about it, but I don't think it's going to be that easy. Let's look at the euro while we happen to be here. Euro is bear flagging under the cloud, under the Tenkan-sen. After this real bearish candle the week before last, we got a little bit of a bounce, but we didn't make it back up to the Tenkan-sen. Tenkan-sen is at 109.64. So generally I would recommend selling the Tenkan-sen at 109.64. Especially if it starts pointing down when it opens up this week. And in fact, it might be in a different location when we get the open. So, but that is what that's a setup I call the Tenkan Smackdown. Existing downtrend gets a oversold bounce back to the Tenkan-sen. It's usually quite shortable, and then you have easy risk reward because you can just put your stop above the Tenkan-sen wherever you can afford to leave it, depending on your time frame and account size and position size. All right, what else do we have? Let's look at coffee. Everyone wants to always know about coffee. Coffee is in bearish under the cloud, under the Tenkan-sen. The Tenkan-sen is slightly tilted down, but if we do get a reversal, I mean, this spinning top type doji, it's not really a doji, a spinning top type candle, could suggest a reversal from this prior downtrend, which actually wasn't. It was actually an uptrend, so it could. Pardon me, I gotta calm down a little bit. We could see a bounce back up, is what I'm trying to get at. And if we do get a bounce back up, it would be 148.88. That would limit the bounce to the upside. But overall, this is a bearish chart, and there's no reason not to think that we could get more selling. Let's zoom out a little bit and see what we have other levels going on. I mean, what I would like, here's a little lesson in how I fib. I've gone over this a few times before, but this might provide a little bit of extra information. It's a little more in-depth. I think I have time for it. This is how I generally fib. I fib using candle bodies rather than wicks. And so right now we're just bouncing along the 23.6. So that's, and coincidentally, the 38.2% fib is right on the Tenkan-sen. So I think those are some really good fib levels. And if you look at the chart, you see that these levels were very reactive, really good levels. See? Boom. Well, obviously that's a boom because that's a high, but the 88.6 was important there. Anyway, let's move on to about corn. Getting a little bit random here as I have a little bit of time left, and probably forgetting something significant. So last week corn held the Kijun-sen, which I thought was significant. Then the week before last. Then last week we were denied by the Kijun-sen. So even though we had a bullish candle that closed near the highs, we are below the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen. So corn could very much sell from here unless it can reclaim the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen. So very tight range for corn, because even if it can get to the Tenkan-sen above, it's got the cloud as well. Let's look at wheat. Bearish week for wheat. After bouncing off the Tenkan-sen, we lost the Tenkan-sen and closed below. So bearish overall. Also the Chikou lost the Tenkan-sen and the candles last week. Let's look at soybeans. Looking similar to corn but further away from the cloud. Soybeans are in existing fasting time frame downtrend. Did get a little bit of a bounce. Could be attracted towards this flat Tenkan-sen above at 991.75, but that would be in a level that price could get rejected at. The Chikou is tangled up between the top of the candles and the Tenkan-sen, so Tenkan-sen could provide resistance for it there, so it could even sell a bit lower. You know, maybe we can't even get above this level. We might reverse here even on soybeans. Let's look at the yen. Wow. Yen looks like it's a member of the grain family. So yen last week was able to hold the Tenkan-sen and get a close above, so a little bit of a bullish break for yen, but still overall bearish under the cloud. Let's look at the Nikkei. In case you didn't know, the Nikkei and the yen frequently trade opposite each other. Nikkei's been in a really nice bullish uptrend. We got a little pullback, didn't come all the way back to the Tenkan-sen, then we got a very bullish candle, made a new high, and then we had an inside candle last week, which suggests potential for a new downtrend, but it hasn't happened yet. If we do get further selling in the Nikkei, we could get pull back as far as the 19,023 level. If we hit that level and bounce, it would be extremely bullish for new highs. Tenkan-sen's pointing up, Kijun-sen's pointing up, cloud is pointing up. Very bullish. Nikkei looks quite more bullish than the S&P 500 even. Let's see, what else? I'm kind of at a loss, and it's 5:59, so I'm gonna let you go. And thanks for watching, and if you enjoy this video, you can follow me on tickerTV/CloudChartist. Just click the follow button, and You'll have to give up your email address, but you'll get a nice reward for doing so. You will get notified every time I stream live. If you were interested in what I do, I run a chat room during the day, which we trade commodity futures. We trade crude primarily, but we also I trade silver in the room, ES, YM, bonds. I also talk about stocks, and I go over Ichimoku setups that I know and love. I'm offering a $20 free trial right now. I'm sorry, not a free trial, a $20 weekly trial right now. If you want to come and check it out for a week, it's $20. You can hang out, and we have some really advanced traders in the room, some former pit traders, some really cool people, very experienced. So mixing various techniques with Ichimoku and with great success. So anyway, thanks for watching, and you can always check out my website at CloudChartist.com. Take care. Good luck trading this week.